Hello Mohegans, welcome back to Wellness Wednesdays, where we'll focus on keeping our minds and bodies happy and healthy with a life full of fun, balance, and exploration. Today's activity I've titled Exploration for Inspiration. I'm going to go on a nature walk and I'm going to look for things that inspire me. And once I find those things that inspire me, I'm going to use them to create an artwork, probably a drawing, but we'll do that part next week. This week, we're just going to focus on finding images that inspire us, whether that be landscapes, creatures, or cool little flowers and plants. So let's go and enjoy a good book. So while we're out enjoying all these beautiful scenes in nature, keep in mind our end goal is to be able to make an artwork with the things that we found around us. Keep your eye out for things that look extra interesting. If you're familiar with the elements of art, definitely apply those when you take your photos and have fun searching. I'm really enjoying the leading lines that this fence creates. I think I might pause here and take a picture. Oh, and those daisies right there, I might try to incorporate that as a larger element in the front. This will be great for sketching later. I've spotted a little tiny bird. A little robin, it looks like, just playing in the patch of sunlight amongst the shadows. Alright, I just found some really fun flowers. They're growing here, looks like on a vine on this tree, or maybe it's part of the tree. Can't really tell. Looks like it's a vine coming out of the base of this tree. The flower grows in clusters here. I might try to get up close. See if I can get a close-up on them. But yeah, I'll take a picture of that. Those are gorgeous. I love all the little polka dots around them. So I just found this super little bug right here on the flowers. I'm just going to try to capture him real briefly, just in case he ends up being a character later. I'm going to go ahead and add this log to my toolbox for later, just in case I need a larger element. I might even walk around it, depending on the perspective I might need for my picture later. That could be a really interesting structure to put into a natural picture. This little patch over here has caught my attention. It creates almost like a little window or a picture frame with the arched branches here. And I may not use the background in my image, but I really like the flow of the vines and the leaves here. So I may end up using the shape and the way that the light hits the ground here to create some depth of space in a future artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and snap a picture of this one as well. Talking about interesting natural structures, take a look at this tree branch. It has a neat little knot hole right here. A little creature could live in there. And then the way that it goes sideways at a strong diagonal, that would help create movement, but it also gives a wonderful little perch for some creatures. So I'm going to go ahead and add that one to my toolbox as well. Right next to this interesting tree is this awesome vine. Take a look at that. Tarzan could slide off of that one. Oh yeah. Now, you can't forget when looking at interesting structures, not only can you find those in nature, but man-made structures can be just as interesting depending on the ones that you find or the elements of them that you collect. So if you see an interesting man-made structure, take a picture. You don't have to use it, but then you have the option later on, just in case. Now, something interesting to think about when you're looking at structures is not just the positive space, but the negative space. What am I talking about? So basically, the bridge itself, it takes up space. And if you can touch the bridge in that space, that is positive space. But do you see the windows it creates? Just like the archway we looked at earlier with the branches. The window is kind of a square shape, and that square shape or rectangle that you see right there in between the columns of the bridge, that's what's called negative space. And negative space is just as important in a picture as your positive space. So think about the shapes that the bridge will create. So right here I found some beautiful clouds, and the sun is hitting them gorgeously. Sometimes we think we know what something looks like a cloud. But oftentimes if you look at a photo, you realize the lines and the forms involved in creating something are very, very different than what we usually imagine them to be. So I'm just going to collect some of those forms in case I want to use any of these cloud structures in my drawing later. I found this awesome space right here, and I love how the light just separates the space. You have the darker shadows in the front, and then towards the middle you have that beautiful golden sunlight that comes down and bounces off the green leaves. And then sinking back towards the back again, we have those mysterious dark shadows that make you wonder what kind of stories are going on back there. And just a little jewel on the crown here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I'll try to zoom in a bit. But right in here, there's these lovely little purple flowers just kind of poking out. And a little contrast here. A little variety, a little intrigue. So yeah, this is a beautiful spot. I'm definitely going to add this one to my inspiration book. Alright, let's go look for some more treasures. I'm going to stop and get a picture of these tree stems. Tree stems just have so many lines in them that you don't expect. And also that adorable little chipmunk that's just hanging out there. I found some more beautiful purple flowers here, but I have to be real close or real careful trying to get a picture of them because of this little thing right here. That's poison ivy. Leaves of 3, leave it be. Alright, but yeah, that poison ivy, you'll have to watch when you're out collecting nature footage because it'll be hiding just about anywhere. And it can even come in different colors. And it always has 3 leaves, but the leaves can sometimes be shaped a little differently. So you can see how the prongs on these leaves are pretty prominent. They're not always quite that prominent, so you have to be careful with poison ivy. It's tricky. But let's go ahead and try to get a close-up of these purple flowers that I stopped here for. With the little yellow polka dots in there. So beautiful. Alright. Those have been collected for our inspiration box. Awesome. Hey, check this out. We found some nice water here. Look at the way the light dances on top of it. Now those areas where the light's real bright, we get so much reflection. We might have to scoot it down the river where we have a little less reflection so we can really pick up on the texture of that water there. Uh-oh, I broke one of my rules. See down here? All the poison ivy, and I'm standing in it. Alright, definitely gonna have to wash those shoes when I get home. Off this plant T-wall. Since we looked at the poison ivy, this one's actually called jewelweed. And there's a whole bunch of it growing here on this hillside. At the middle of summer, it's going to get yellow and orange flowers on it. But what makes it so special is if you smoosh it up and stick it on the skin where you think you may have come in contact with poison ivy, within about 30 minutes to an hour of coming in contact with the poison ivy, there is a chance that it'll help wash away the oils from the poison ivy so you won't get an itchy rash. So it's a very handy plant to know and to take whenever you come in contact with poison ivy. So this is where I discovered it's really hard to hold your camera steady while you're running. Oh, no way! Is that what I think it is? Check this out, guys. There's a turtle here. It almost looks like it's digging a hole. Like it's getting ready to lay its eggs. Wow. That's so awesome. I definitely wasn't expecting to find this on my walk this morning. The next 15 minutes of this video are me hanging out with this super awesome turtle. But if you get tired hanging out with this super awesome turtle, just fast forward the video about 15 minutes. Something I wanted to talk to you all about today was creativity. Now, some people think you're born with it. Either you have it or you don't. I completely disagree. Creativity isn't just something that you have, but it's something you work towards. So if you want to make something that's original and creative and gets people excited, then you have to invest some time into it. And that investment of time and thought and effort, your ideas are going to start to build upon each other. And the more you build those ideas, the more interesting, the more complex, the more creative whatever you're applying yourself towards is going to be. So whether it's a drawing or a photography or anything, it's giving yourself that time to come up with something awesome. And then people will look at it and be like, wow, that's so creative. Now, this kind of goes along with the idea of meditation, because meditation is basically just taking some time to think. There's lots of different kinds of meditation. Sometimes you can meditate on nothing at all, or sometimes you could meditate on a specific thing or a general thing. An example of like a real general thing would just be like the noises around you. So a nature walk happens to be a wonderful moment to meditate, especially if you're meditating towards the idea of coming up with something that would be a creative and interesting drawing. So if you want to meditate with this turtle right now, or just think about the sounds of the birds chirping or the rocks rustling, or maybe later on, we're going to have some different nature scenes. Maybe one of those would be a good time for you to meditate and think about your drawing. She's currently laying them right now. It's pretty awesome. My eyes can see the eggs dropping, but my camera doesn't have enough light to capture it. Do you happen to know what kind of turtle it is?
Oh, it's a snapping turtle.
That's what I was thinking. It was some kind of a snapping turtle, but I wasn't sure if it was a musk turtle or just an average.
It's a snapping turtle. She gets a hold of you, she won't let go. There's a story about the WVU had some biologists that studied these, and they traced it. But this one guy would go out and check on them because they had transmitters on them, and they vary. And he put his hand down into the creek in the wintertime, just to see if the turtle was still there, like down through rocks and sand. And the turtle, I guess, turned around and grabbed hold of him.
Oh no!
And wouldn't let go. And this is the truth. And he had a little dog with him. I guess the dog finally showed up, and they had to come and get him. But I've actually heard the story. Yeah, it's a true story. But yeah, the biologists, put transmitters and tags on. She's looking at me now. I'm gonna leave her alone.
Wasn't expecting so much attention.
They say that the air temperature determines the sex of the eggs.
Really?
After she lays them, yeah. If it gets above 72 degrees, somehow most of them are male, and there's something to do with temperature.
Wow, that's
neat.
But
the sex is determined after the eggs are laid. That's baloney. And if you really want to hear something interesting, down where they're doing the road, the woods there just to the left before you go across going that way. So the other evening, she's getting mad at me. The other evening, I was down through there and I had to use the bathroom, so I went over there and it was a 5-foot black snake.
Oh no!
So you see everything. It's a nature walk.
Well, have a good one. Thank you, sir. She's currently working on burying her eggs now. All the eggs have been laid. Oh, there's a pretty cool little beetle crawling in her shell there. Let's see where she's moving her feet around. Push that dirt back in where it came from. So returning to the scene, this is where our Mrs. Turtle was this morning. And now all we got here is all the rocks that she pushed back on top of her baby eggs. And they'll be able to crawl out of there once they all hatch. I think this little snake is a corn snake, which means it's not venomous, but we still don't want to get bit by it. Baby snakes have no control over their venom, so it's actually more dangerous to get bitten by a baby snake than an adult snake. He's just a tiny little guy, waking up in the sunshine. We're gonna leave him be now. Alright, I've spotted a bunny. I'm gonna try to get a picture of him. Oh, there he goes! It's a little squirrel friend, and he's working on an acorn, but he's doing it real funny. He's upside down. Oh, he saw me. Hello, squirrel friend. Here he goes. Enjoy your breakfast, little squirrel friend.
Ready?
I'm ready. That's awesome, honey. I'm super ready for this one. Found a really cool frog. Do you see him?
Oh, yes, I do. It's very not the color of the straw. That's so cool, though. How fast he just like sunk in there.
Yeah, like the mud must be pretty soft, so he can just hide in there real quick when he needs to. Pretty cool find. Can you point to the tadpole again? Oh, there he is. Hiding in the leaf cover.
Oh, there he goes.
There he goes. Amazing, all the life in these tiny petals.
There's a dark patch and it's right in front of it. That's one. And then if you go to the right, it's like a little orange leaf. Just in front of that's another one.
I see the one in front of the rock. Oh, there's one over there.
Oh, there's one in front of the rock. That's 4. Oh, that one went poof. Did he hide?
There's one by the orange leaf.
One of them ran away.
There's one. There's all sorts of salamanders. And all these tadpoles.
It's neat.
It is cool. You can see the polka dots on this salamander.
Oh, it's just in the green. It's got little orange dots on it.